Sled is a very unique extreme sports arcade racing game that was developed and published by Electronic Arts for the PlayStation back in 1999. The game did get a subsequent re-release later in 2002, also on the PS2, and this is an arcade focused racer that utilises snowmobiles to race around different types of off-road and mountain based tracks, racing on snow and ice. This game does have a lot of unique features, as at the time it did get really good reviews in the magazines, stating there was a lot of unique features and even gameplay modes that really stood out from its competitors, as extreme sports games weren't considered to be that good on the PS1 back at that time. So this was a nice refreshing look into that series. It was also one of the quite rare racers to include 4-player support through PlayStation Multitap if you had access to one. So that in itself gave you an extra incentive to play with your mates and have a lot of fun. And one of the main features that it was heavily praised on was the ease of playability getting started with the game, as the gameplay and the mechanics and even the track layouts are very user friendly. The control system is very easy to pick up and play, like an absolute beginner would get familiar with the game very quickly. And you do have access to a lot of different modes, from the likes of quick race to championship to time trials, and you also have the ability, as you go through the game, you have to play through the championship to unlock additional courses and characters to race as, but it also gives you an additional extra feature that the courses that you can unlock, you can mix and match them together to create your own custom championships, which is pretty cool if you're setting up something with your mates. You can have a lot of fun with it. And with the championship modes that are available, there are two primary modes that you can access. So you will have access to Open Mountain or the Super Snowcross Championship, and with the Open Mountain Championship you get access to more open-ended and wider tracks, but you also have access to loads of different shortcuts which you can use to your advantage throughout the races. But you also do have to be aware of more traps and obstacles that will get in your way throughout each race. The Super Snowcross Championship, however, doesn't have a lot of those additional features. Instead, it has more focused and narrow based tracks, so you don't have access to the shortcuts as such, but you have a lot more jumps and features to take advantage of the unique trick based system that you can use. So when you're making jumps and you're in the air, you can utilize different button combinations to pull off loads of different stunts, so you can gain additional points, which in turn will help you to increase your overall score system as you play. So depending on the different game modes, there's enough here to keep you playing. And one of the main unique aspects of Sledstorm itself is that it took a lot of heavy inspiration from games the likes of Road Rash, where the gameplay is very fast and frantic, and you have the ability to knock other racers off their snowmobiles as you ram them off the tracks while overcoming certain hazards. And you do also have the ability to be able to play on different day settings, so from day, night and sunny or morning settings, so it definitely adds a unique experience. But even with all the positives, there are some negatives, in the form of, the only thing I could really find from having played the game myself is the AI can be quite cheap, but luckily enough you can tweak this by changing some of the settings in the menu, where you can change down the difficulty level so it'll make your gameplay experience a bit more enjoyable, as sometimes the AI can be quite cheap to a point where if you make a mistake or you crash very early on in the race, you will spend pretty much the entirety of the race trying to catch up to first place or even get past them. But the problem with the catch up logic feature is that once you pass an opponent, they get an increase in speed, so you can never really gain any sort of a lead against them. So no matter how much skill you have and how good you are at the game, a lot of the time it really boils down to luck more than skill to determine whether you're going to win an actual race or not, which can be quite frustrating. But luckily enough you can change those options, so you can tweak the overall gameplay style to suit your own play style, so it can make the experience a lot more enjoyable. The one thing I do like about the game, aside from all of the features, is the arcade feel and the arcade style that it presents. It definitely has that unique touch of an arcade racer, which I really like, and it definitely captures the atmosphere around what it's trying to do. And the game also does include additional support for the likes of DualShock analog controllers, so you can play it to get the best features and to even just enjoy the game the best possible way. And another unique feature, or really cool feature of the game, is the fact is that it has an epic soundtrack, and you have tunes from the likes likes of Rob Zombie and other well-known bands at that time. So the whole aspect combines itself into one very neat and well put together package, and it really stands out from the crowd when you compare it to other similar games around the system. It was definitely one of the better games that was available, but it was quite underrated because a lot of people mostly overlooked it, which is a shame. But aside from the little niggles or flaws in the game, it's a very competent and worthwhile racer. It has a lot of very unique and arcade style elements with enough gameplay features that will keep you coming back for more, and with the addition of the multiplayer support, if you have access to a multi-tap where you can play with your mates, you will definitely have quite a fun experience with this game. So I do recommend that you should check it out. And I would love to know what you think of Sled Storm for the PlayStation 1. Did you play it back in the day, and if so, what are your thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it, or maybe not so much? I'd love to hear whatever stories you have about the game, so be sure to share them down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video and you would like to see more reviews and gameplay style content on games like this that were released for the PlayStation 1, where I do share my thoughts and experience with everyone, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be updated when future videos are released. And do feel free to check around other videos on the channel where I do provide content around similar games that were also released on the system back in the day. So as always, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.